have to say Goldilocks would love these towels. They weren't too thick or too thin. These were just right.
It's a tale as old as time. Where there's food, there's mess. Cleaning is just an unfortunate reality for all home cooks. But does it have to be such a miserable task?
A few years ago, Hannah and I did a video on the best gear and tips for cleaning your kitchen. And since then, our team has kept going, testing more cleaning products and discovering even more great tricks.
So we're back with an update. We've got a bunch of our favorite kitchen cleaning gadgets and tips so you can tidy up with the best of them.
First up, Hannah with her favorites.
All right, first up, handheld vacuums. I love these little suckers. The best handheld vacuums prioritize portability and convenience without sacrificing on suction power and efficiency. They're ideal for tackling small to moderate messes and for getting into hard-to-reach places. Most don't need to be plugged in when you use them, and they typically come on with charging bases or cords, and in fact, this was a prerequisite of our testing. I accidentally bought one once that had to be plugged in all the time. I basically bought a micro vacuum, and it was on the curb outside my house in under a year. The best models made cleaning our homes, cars, and offices easier. We found a few factors that set them apart. This is our winner here from Black & Decker, the cordless pivot. We also had a Best Buy, also from Black & Decker, called the Dustbuster. It was great too. This one was just a little better. Cost about, $10 to $20 more, depending on the pricing of the day. There are links to both of these models and all the equipment we're going to talk about today down below. And just a reminder, we are not sponsored by Black & Decker. They just happen to make two of the best cordless handheld vacs on the market. So, what are you looking for in one of these things? The first factor we considered was suction power, because with a vacuum, that really is the most important thing. We made this disgusting mixture with 100 grams of dirt, pet hair, uncooked rice, and onion skins, and we sprinkled it on a 1.5 square inch of carpet, and we timed how long it took each model to pick up that mixture. We saw a real difference here. The best models only took 30 seconds, and we definitely prioritized those here, because if it doesn't vacuum well, what's the point? The Black & Decker pivot right here was the fastest model we tested. Another important factor was the collection bin. You really wanted one big enough to clean up your mess in one fell swoop. You don't want to be emptying it halfway through. The collection bin had to be easy to open. We don't want multiple steps. We don't want, dust spurting everywhere. Our winner here just had one little latch on it, opened easily every time. Size and shape mattered too. We preferred moderately sized models that were customizable in length, no longer than 17 inches. Look, you can pull this out here, get a little extra reach. Weight was also a factor, and unfortunately, to get that power, it often added a few pounds. If you're looking for something lighter, if that's really your priority, our Best Buy, the other Black & Decker, the Dustbuster, was 5 ounces lighter, and that can make a difference. A customizable nozzle like this on the end, we found this to be really important. It just helps you get into tight crevices, gives you a little bit more height, a little bit extra reach. We really preferred models that had these. During testing, we found bristle attachments are great for really scraping up pet hair, and the most effective ones were the ones that are attached to the machine or the base, because you'll actually know where they are and use them. The last thing that we found was really helpful was pivoting or rotating nozzles. This helped us get into hard-to-reach areas without straining our wrists or our arms as much. Our winner here pivots an impressive 220 degrees. Check that out. It also folds up to store really small, which is super cool. But you can fold it all different ways to get behind things, under things. It was convenient and more comfortable. Here are a few tips for keeping your handheld vacuum in tip-top shape after purchase. First of all, it may be convenient to leave it plugged in all the time on the charging dock, but this will actually prevent your battery from running at its full capacity, so it's better to unplug it once the unit is fully charged. Another tip is to clean the collection basket every time you use it, and you want to clean the filter roughly every 5 or 6 times you use it. A filter that doesn't receive this little extra TLC won't run as optimally. It actually affects the suction power. You want to replace your filter every 6 months, 6 months of full use. The filters come in packs of 2 to 4 for like 10 to 15 bucks. It's just a small thing you can do to keep this machine running great for years to come. If you're looking to keep your floors sparkling clean, but don't have the room to store a big, bulky mop and bucket set, a spray mop might be right for you. Because they can't be wrung out, even the best spray mop doesn't have the same cleaning capacity as a larger traditional mop, but they're great for smaller spaces, smaller touch-ups, and easy, convenient cleaning. Swiffer popularized the category in the early 2000s with its automatic push-button convenience. It would spray out cleaning solution. But most of these spray mops on the market today are trigger style, which means they operate just like a spray bottle. Squeeze, squeeze. The thing that really gets my goat about Swiffer is it has single-use cleaning pads. I have one of them right here. So you have to buy them from Swiffer again and again, and after a single use, boom, you're done. It's wasteful and you're required to purchase them from Swiffer. Same with the cleaning solution. You have to purchase their bottle so it clicks properly in place into their mop. If I had to do it all over again, I would just avoid Swiffer entirely. We really loved mops like our winner here from O-Cedar that has that refillable chamber that you can fill with whatever cleaning solution you prefer to use. We love Mrs. Meyer's here. This is the lavender scent. It smells beautiful. You reconstitute it so this bottle lasts a long time. And that was a major thing for us. We don't want to have to buy these expensive bottles from the manufacturer of our mop every time. This allows you the freedom to clean with whatever you want at whatever price you want. Our winner here had a big, beautiful reusable pad like we talked about, but not all of them were that well designed. We really preferred large, plush microfiber pads that had two sides to them. This allowed them to clean better, pick up more. They were just much more effective. It's also great that they're machine washable. You can just throw them in the wash. You don't want to spend time washing your washing equipment. We preferred lightweight and sturdy models that were between 3 and 4 pounds. This was enough heft that we could, apply some scrubbing pressure when we needed to, but not so heavy that they were taxing on our arms. We preferred comfortable, roomy grips and spray-style triggers. You want to make sure the cleaning solution gets out easily, quickly, and evenly. Our winner here from O-Cedar has a customizable trigger, so if you pull it a little bit, it just goes out a little bit. If you pull it all the way back, it goes 3 times further than any of the other models we tested. I'm talking 8 feet total here. And if you've ever used a model that doesn't have this feature, you're squeezing it again and again and again and again and again. That quick, easy coverage will reduce your overall cleaning time. What more could you want? Now let's get into some cleaning tips, one of my favorite topics. First, one of the most searched kitchen cleaning topics on Google, how to clean your oven. Like most people, myself included, your oven may accumulate a series of melted globs and blobs, burnt on cheese. If you never clean your oven, you run the risk of either some bad smelling fumes and smoke when you're trying to cook something delicious coming out, or these can actually be really dangerous and you can start a fire if your oven really is egregiously dirty. So let's start with a couple ways to clean your oven. My oven was in pretty rough shape until I luckily smashed my oven door and had to get a new one, so now it's perfectly clean. That's one method. It is quite expensive. I would not recommend it. Let's start first with a couple others. First, I want to talk about the self-cleaning mode. Some ovens have a self-cleaning mode. You can use it. There are some safety tips you need to know with this. When you are cleaning your oven, whether you're doing it by hand or with the self-cleaning mode, you want to make sure there is great ventilation. Turn your hood on, open your windows, move your pets and kids out of the room, but don't leave home. You don't want to leave an oven in the self-cleaning mode unattended. What the self-cleaning mode does is lock the door and rev the heat up super high to basically incinerate any mess in there. The first step you want to do is make sure to remove the racks from the oven, take any pots and pans you might be storing in the oven or in the drawer below out while you're going to self-clean. You also want to start by cleaning up any big gloppy messes that are in there. Get a head start, clean out anything you know is going to create a huge smoky mess. If you're using the self-cleaning mode, make sure to never use an oven cleaning product at the same time. This can actually void the warranty of your oven. It is okay to use dish soap and water between oven cleaning cycles though. Now, most modern ovens have a self-cleaning function. But if yours doesn't, or if you don't want to use it, there are all sorts of aerosols, gels, and sprays. These use lye, solvents, and other grease cutters to help dissolve and break down the grime in your oven. Now, they can be pretty powerful, so you can choose a fume-free version like I have here. I have a bun in this oven, so if I'm cleaning one of those ovens, I want to make sure I'm not inhaling a lot of toxic fumes. Oven manufacturers like Whirlpool and KitchenAid recommend wearing gloves, an old apron, and covering the floor around your oven while you're cleaning. Many oven cleaning products are pretty strong, so you don't want to run the risk of staining your clothes or ruining the floor in your kitchen. Some of these work pretty quickly, so you can use them for spot cleaning. Others need to sit on the oven for a couple hours, so make sure you're aware of that before you start cleaning so you don't need to use your oven halfway through. Some work best with a warm oven, so you can turn your oven on to 150, 175 for 15 minutes before you clean and then turn it off. But make sure to read your product's instructions to get the best results. What if I told you there was one magical product that could clean anything in your home that you probably already have in your kitchen? Vinegar. All right, that was probably a bit much, but seriously, vinegar is an amazingly powerful cleaning tool that you probably already have. We're not talking about using your, beautiful white wine vinegar or rice vinegar here. We're talking about the large, inexpensive, maybe even gallon-sized bottles of white distilled vinegar that you can find at every supermarket. First of all, you can make a general cleaning spray for countertops and whatnot. You want to mix 1 part vinegar with 4 parts water. You could use a little citrus oil spray in there as well to make it smell nice. And remember, this won't disinfect, but it will help clean your counters. Next up, cleaning your microwave. You want to mix a 1/4 cup of vinegar with a 1/4 cup of water in a microwave-safe bowl and microwave it on high until everything comes to a boil. Allow the steam to circulate while the water clears, and the steam will help loosen any stuck-on grease or food bits. Afterwards, wipe everything clean with a dish towel or sponge. You can also use vinegar to clean produce. Mix 1 part vinegar and 3 parts water in a spray bottle. Make sure to coat the produce fully and rinse it completely afterwards. You can also use it to clean your drains. Pour a 1/2 cup of baking soda down your drain, 1 cup of vinegar, and then plug it up. You can use a drain cover or just an old-fashioned dish towel. Let this mixture sit for 10 minutes for that fizzy reaction to happen, and then rinse it with hot water, and everything should run much smoother through there. All right, now let's go to Lisa with some of her favorites. But first, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out.
So first up on my list is a bottle brush. These are long, slim brushes on a long stem to get into narrow spaces like a coffee carafe or a water bottle or a baby bottle and really scrub where you can't get with your hand. This is our favorite. It's called the Quickie Bottle Brush. I have one of these right by my sink. It hangs on a little hook and I grab it almost every day and use it for something. It's a small thing that makes a huge difference in your kitchen and in cleaning. The right bottle brush. Now, this really had a lot of things that the other ones lacked. One is these medium length bristles. Bristles that are less than 1 inch long are about right, but not too short. You want a medium length on the shorter side. Long ones just kind of flatten out and flop around. Shorter ones are not very effective. You're just scratching at things. The texture of these is really good. They can really get in and work up a lather and clean things effectively. You're not just either scratching at things or just brushing them with something soft. They can really scrub and they can really keep the lather on the brush. The other thing was the length of the handle was just about right. You could really get to the bottom of a tall carafe. The handle was just stiff enough so that you could get some good leverage, and there's a nice grippy area at the top. Now, this looks a lot like another brush that we tested by OXO. I had the OXO brush, and when I got to try this one, I threw the OXO one away. It looks the same. It is not the same. Some of them don't go in the dishwasher because they're made of wood or something, and you can't put it in the dishwasher. They're not safe. This one you can put in the dishwasher, so if you want to put it in the dishwasher, it comes out completely clean, looks brand new. If you're rinsing it in hot soapy water, it releases all the food particles that got in there. The bristles are spaced out well enough that stuff doesn't lodge in there permanently, and you can really get it clean, which is really important. You don't want to just start generating more places where bacteria is going to grow with the tools that you're trying to clean with. If you don't have a dishwasher in your apartment, your home, your RV, your vacation home, and you would like to have that, this is something you should consider. It's a countertop dishwasher. We tested them in 2 sizes. They come in this small size and one that's about twice as big, and we have recommendations in each category. The smaller kind does not have to be hooked up to a sink. The larger ones do have to be hooked up, so they do monopolize your sink while they're running, which can be, the length of a dishwasher cycle, an hour or more. This is our winner by Comfy. It was our overall favorite because we loved that option to not have to hook it up to a sink. Some of the key factors that you want to look for in this, let's start with size. The small ones really hold about 2 place settings, and I'm not just talking single plates, I'm talking like a full 5-piece place setting. The larger ones hold twice that. They have different cycles. A lot of them are very similar. They have glass cycles, short rapid cycles, or they call eco cycles. Some of them have baby care cycles, so like you're supposed to be able to put baby bottles in. We would not recommend using those if you need to sanitize or sterilize baby bottles, but otherwise they did a nice job. This one we also loved, it pops open at the end of the cycle. The door just pops itself open a little bit, and that just helps it to vent the moisture. So the dishes came out drier in the end, and that was just a nice little extra that put this one over the top. So to set it up is pretty simple. This hose just screws onto the back, and that goes into your sink. There's a little suction cup to keep it pointed the way you want. It doesn't come out with such force that it really splashes around. It stayed pretty quiet. If you don't want to use this near a sink, or you don't have a sink nearby, you can just have it drain into a bucket. And they gave you this handy little funnel, which is nice because if it splashes at all, it still goes in. It doesn't make so much of a mess. We had another model that didn't have that funnel, and you always ended up with a little puddle of water up here. You fill this up 3 times to the top, pour it in, and it will beep when it's full. So you know you've put enough water in. You just close that up, load it up, choose your cycle, push the button, and go. And the dishes came out really nice and clean. We checked the temperature of these. We ran them with a special dishwasher temperature thermometer, and it recorded the high temperature that it reached. And these got up to 160 degrees, and that's great. According to the US Department of Agriculture, the dishwasher has to reach 140 degrees to activate the soap and really get everything clean. The models that were a little bit bigger, that were twice the size, reached 150 degrees. So they all reached a safe temperature. These machines also used less detergent than full-size dishwashers. You only need about a tablespoon of a powdered detergent or liquid detergent. And you could use pods, and those are great in these, but if you're using a short cold cycle, they may not fully dissolve. So they're best for when you're using a regular cycle with hot water, and then the pod will fully dissolve. But they're very economical to run. The Department of Energy says that they cost between $15 and $30 a year to run. So they're not using a ton of power. And in fact, when you're comparing washing dishes by hand and the water is running the whole time, they use much less water as well. And they heat the water and then wash the dishes and then drain. So it's all self-contained, and you're not continually running hot water from your tap and wasting a lot of soap and a lot of water. While we were testing dishwashers, we actually thought a lot about how you load a dishwasher. We talked to some experts, and I know this is a point of contention in a lot of households. Like, one person throws things in and the other one is secretly rearranging everything behind their back and getting aggravated. So just to settle some arguments, these are some of the things we learned. Any kind of bowls or cupped things, you want to face them down. A lot of the water comes up from the bottom. So you want anything that needs to get cleaned out inside, you want it, facing down. Silverware, first, never put your chef's knife in the dishwasher. You're gonna freak out every knife expert in the country. They'll know. If you have butter knives, put them in point down. If you have forks and spoons, put them in handle side down, business end up, because then they'll get rinsed off and really clean. Put things in snugly, nest them in together, but not pinching. So if there's anything that's really up against something else that it can't really rinse through when it's getting sprayed, you want to make sure nothing is pinched. Don't overcrowd. Don't be tempted to get one last thing in there. Take it out, wait for next time. And finally, you do need to clean your dishwasher. If you're not getting good results, all dishwashers, including these compact ones, have a little cup at the bottom to catch pieces of food. And if you don't take that out every now and then, rinse it out, clean it out, you're going to get a bad odor. It will stay in there, growing bacteria, and be flushed all over your new dishes. You just really periodically, every week or so, a couple weeks, just eyeball it. If it has anything in it, rinse it out and put it back, because that will make the performance of your dishwasher so much better. Last but not least, one of the most important tools in your cleaning arsenal, the dish towel. We tested a lot of dish towels, and we tested their absorbency, their flexibility, their durability, and we really loved these. These are by Williams-Sonoma. They come in a bunch of different stripes, blue, red, other colors, and they're really nice. They come in this little package of 4 with a bow on it. It makes a great gift. I've given them as gifts. I've gotten them as gifts. Tell my sister, send me those for Christmas, and I got them, and I was very happy. But honestly, they wear like iron, and they're like a great pair of jeans. These are all cotton towels. They have this nice sort of a lattice weave. The weave just stays really nice and kind of breaks in, and they become softer and softer and more absorbent with time. Even though they start out pretty absorbent, they just get better and better. They're a nice size. They're really generous size. They're not too enormous, but they're big enough for doing things like if you're going to use it as a pot holder to pick up something, it's nice and thick. If you're going to get into little tiny shapes like drying the inside of a champagne flute, it can do that too. And I just find it's just about the perfect size for everything I want to do in the kitchen. We also tested microfiber towels and mixed fiber towels. Microfiber towels were pretty absorbent, but they melted if you use them as a pot holder. And they also, some people just don't like the way they feel on their fingertips, me included. The cotton was much better, doesn't melt, and it really holds up to a lot of use and abuse. It can absorb a ton. We dangled these into water and watched how far it traveled up in a certain amount of time, and these really held a ton of liquid, and so that's great for mopping up any kind of spills or for just drying a whole sink full of dishes. Also, I'd have to say Goldilocks would love these towels. They weren't too thick or too thin. The really thick ones are kind of clumsy. You can't get into little nooks and crannies of dishes. You're feeling like you've got just too much fiber there. Thin ones can't absorb as much. You're bunching them up and you're trying to get enough towel there to do what you want to do. These were just right. A word about cleaning your dish towels. Now, after you use them in the kitchen and you're using them hard, they get stained, they look sad and gray. You want to get them really nice and clean again. We have a few tips for you. The real key here is when you're cleaning these, no fabric softener. Fabric softeners work by applying silicone oils to the fibers of your clothes or your dish towels, and that makes them feel softer and repel stains. But the fact is, if you've already got stains in here and you want your towels to be really absorbed, you want them to be cleaned without fabric softener. You don't want fabric softener on these coating them and making them less absorbent and kind of almost sealing the stains in. You want to just use the most simple, straightforward laundry detergent and soak out the stains with OxiClean first.
There you go. Hopefully with our favorite gear and kitchen cleaning tips, you're well equipped to tackle any mess in the kitchen.
For more cleaning tips and information about all the gear we talked about today, check out the links below or go to americastestkitchen.com.
What are your favorite cleaning tips? What questions do you have for us about cleaning? Ask us in the comments. Make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.